everyone, today I'm looking at making a little flippy foldy booklet. This idea was, I watched a video from Climmy's Creations and I've done mine a little bit differently. It is a little flippy foldy booklet that goes into a journal page. I've got it just placed into a plain piece of paper. If you open it up this way, you've got a couple of pieces of journal writing spaces. It opens up again. That could be more journal space. I've added a pocket. You've got another little tuck spot here. When you open it this way, you've got more journaling space here and more journaling space that way. When you flip it up that way, you've got pockets here and pockets here. You could also add, if you wanted to, you could add another pocket here, but it's getting a bit thick, so I haven't done that. So that's what we're making. All you need is a piece of double-sided paper. I've printed this one from the kit, and I've used this as the scrapbook pages, and this is the journal papers, something plain on the inside so it can be journaled on. I'm going to cut this piece on the long side at 5 inches, and that's going to make that base part. So there's my two pieces. So my 5-inch piece is going to be the top part, and then grabbing the scoring board. Now I've made a couple of adjustments just to make a little bit more room in the journal. I'll show you where. So here, when I made it, it was lovely, and then when I started adding all these tags into here, I figured it could just do on that seam with just a little bit of space. So hopefully these will all work. So on this is the 5-inch piece, and this is going to be, I'm just working out which is top and bottom. That's going to be my bottom. So on my top, line it up on your board and a score at 3 3/8. The next one is at 6 3/4. 6 7/8. That will give us just that little gusset that's going to fit. 10 1/8. And then 11, hang on, let me just check that, 10 1/8. That will fold it that way. Let me just see if I've got this right. That's my little gusset piece there. And that's my little tuck at the back. Okay, so I'm just going to flip everything the other way. So if I've made that confusing, just to get the folds right. There'll be room in this one for more tags if you wanted to add that extra pocket. And then that will be your pocket. So then it's going to open that way, that way, that way. Lovely. And what I did on this other sample, let me just get it out. For this tuck spot, I just, I don't know if you can see, I've just folded that edge over just the tiniest little bit, just to make it a bit sturdier. And so I'm just going to score enough just to fold over. Do that at 3/8 of an inch, and then that will fold in to make that work really nicely. And then with this piece, I want to score this one, get that lined up on the board. I want to score this one again at 1/4 inch, then 1 5/8. That's my little pocket section, and 6 5/8. Okay, hopefully that's that. So now to put it all together, for your base piece, you want it to open. Let me show you the sample once again. So the base piece, you want the decorative piece on the top, like that. That's my decorative piece. Your inside piece that you're going to journal with, you flip it over and there's your pocket. So that's going to be my pocket. So I want to fold that and glue it under. Let's just do that. That's my little pocket. So again, you've got it up that way, and then for this piece, so this is the flappy piece that's going to go the other way. You can see that there. So for this piece, where are my creases? There and there. This piece, it makes, this piece here is what makes that little pocket on the back when you tuck it under. So for this piece, that's going to go under that way, and then that's the little creased piece there. Okay, so this part, I'm going to glue that little bit under as well, and that's just going to make my pocket. And if you want to, I think I did on this one, I did a little cut out of it. So if you want to do that, do it now. I'm going to use my tab punch just to make just a small cut out of that. Alright, so here's our base piece. Going to glue into the journal like that. This little pocket piece is the bit that's going to sit there, so I'm going to put that under there, and then this is going to fold up. So let me just check that everything works nicely. That's going to sit in there, that's going to fold there, that could come up just a little bit, and then that's going to sit there. Lovely. So the next thing to do is just to glue this pocket in place. And because it's sitting on a loose piece of paper, I'm going to glue the base of that paper as well, just so it doesn't lift up. And just make sure that's all square. Going to move that across just the tiniest little bit, just to get it to line up with that crease line. And that's the basis of it. So that will, find a blank page, that will glue down like that. That will become your tuck spot. There's your two pieces of journaling paper and a pocket. You open it this way, you've got journaling, and space for, you can either put a pocket or whatever you wanted there really. I think I might, I'm just looking here, I might just trim the tiniest bit off the side of that there, just to make sure that that's going to fit. So if you're going to put the gusset in, maybe just trim off a tiny little bit just to make that fit. So just that little sliver makes all the difference. Okay, now on this other one, around the outside here, I used dark cardboard to put a frame, and I did that to add a little bit of weight so that it will keep itself closed. So I'll do that again. I'm using the frame cutting board. You could just do this yourself if you don't have a frame cutting board, just with a cutter. What I might do is actually just cut it to be exact, line it up and cut it exactly, because it's kind of between measurements on this one. So I'm just going to line my cardboard up with my cutter. This one's got a wire in it, so I can sit that like that. That should be exactly right. And just cut that. See if that fits. Perfect. And I'll do the same the other way. So you just want the square to be exactly the same size as your front base. So just line up this edge here. That should be it there. Okay, so that should be identical in size. Lovely. And then with this punch board, or if you're doing this yourself, you could just use a blade and a ruler just to cut the inside of the frame out. Now when you punch this, you get these little pieces. Keep those, because what I did on this one is I used them to add like photo corners, and again that added a little bit of weight to that piece to keep it all sitting down. So hang on to those, and then just cut these pieces out. I've made it a fairly narrow border because I want the scrapbooking paper image to show. Put that away. So that's my frame piece, and I'll glue that into place. Line that up on the edges. That's my frame part in place. This is the piece that you get left with that you could tuck it into a pocket, and you could glue a tag onto it, one of the little pieces from the kit, and make that a tuck spot, even make it a little notebook. Just with some tea-dyed paper, you could fold that edge over and staple it and just have note pages and tuck that in there. So that's one pocket. Then these ones I've just used on this one, I'll show you. To get the contrast in the pockets, I've used, that's the back of the Flippy piece. This piece, it's the back of that makes that pocket, and then I just used some old music paper to make pockets, so I'll do the same again with this one. Just tear a piece of music paper, and then the width for these pockets is the width of this piece. So I could have a pocket down here, so I want about 3 1/4, just less than 3 1/4. So if I use my board, I'm going to take off, line my music paper up, I'm going to take off this extra white. And then I want 3 1/4, 1, 2, 3, and 1/4 should be about there. And again, this is fairly brittle paper, and the depth of your pockets is up to you. On this one, let me see how long I made them on this one. They are about just less than 2 1/4. So I'll cut it at 2 1/4, and then I'll do the same by flipping over the top part of it. So I want 1, 2 1/4, maybe even 2 1/2-ish. And then just to make the top fold, as I said, it's really very brittle paper. I'm just going to lift it and tuck it against the ruler. It'd be great if I had some fingernails. So just to give me a fold line, you could get the scoreboard out again, but so I'm just going to fold that bit under. And glue that. And the same here. Actually, I think I might fold it the other way because I like that side. And I'm going to again get my tab punch out, line them up just so that the tab space is in the same line, punch that little bit out. I'm going to give these a quick ink. So if you've been following along on the 1 Kit 50 projects, it'd be really fun to just have you comment and tell me how you're going with making things, with using the papers. And if there's anything specific you'd like to create that you'd want me to have a go at, happy to try it. Also, if the papers have inspired you to do something, it would be also really good to know that. Okay, so here's our piece. Open it up that way, flip these ones up, and then I'm going to have a pocket here and a pocket here. So just glue those into position. You could, if you wanted with the top one, you could have the pocket going the other way. It doesn't have to go the same way as this one. I'll show you what I mean in a second. So instead of putting the pocket down there, you could, if you wanted, to put the pocket up there so that nothing's ever going to fall out. I'd prefer it to have the other way. I think I'll have mine this way. Okay, and I just need to trim a little bit. I haven't been exact with my tearing. So I'm just going to trim that little bit of extra pocket off. And the same here. Probably should have got the cutting board out again. So you've got your two pockets there. Let me see if I've got a few tags left in here. So you could tuck a tag in that one. Always better to wait until your glue's dried. A tag in that one. You could add another pocket there if you wanted, or you could just paste a little piece of torn tea-dyed paper on there for journaling. And you just need a tag to tuck in there when it's placed in your journal. So that's it. I'll get this one back again. Oh, and these pieces, sorry, I was going to show you these pieces to keep this piece down. Let's just quickly glue those, one in each corner. And it adds just a tiny little bit of weight, because this is quite thick paper that I've cut these from. It's probably 160 maybe GSM. And that's just going to add that little bit of weight just to keep everything sitting nicely in the journal. Now when you're folding these up, there are other ways to fold them. You don't have to fold them the way that I have. If you've got all the creases in the right spots, it kind of just folds up all sorts of ways. So that's those with the four corners on, and as I said, that just adds a little bit of weight just to keep that page down. You could add some decorations to those pockets as well. When you're folding it up, you can open it. You can open everything up. You could fold and open that and have it like that. You could fold that up there and that there, open that and pop that in there, so that you have to open it, open it, open it, open it. So it kind of flips and flaps any way you want. So that's it. The flip, I think she called it the Flippy foldy on Climmy's Creations. The Flippy foldy, I think that was what she called it, something like that. So have a go. It's good fun. Okay, I've added just a couple of little bits and pieces to this one. I've added a few stickers onto the music paper. I'm just finding the front a little bit plain. The border, the frame on this other one stood out much more. So I'm just going to have a play. I've got this Inca Gold again. I'm just going to have a play with rubbing a little bit of gold onto this frame. And this stuff you add it on and then you let it dry and then you buff it, and it gets just with a dry piece of cloth, and that adds a little bit more interest to the border. And I might even add a few, I'll have a look what I've got in the liquid pearls, and I might even add a few liquid pearls around it. And then I've die cut, just from the same piece as the board, I've die cut a few of the cogs that I think might look nice. You can see that shine on there. And I'm just going to glue these onto the frame. you had little bits of keys or metal, that might look nice as well. And then what have I got out on here? Bronze, brass, maybe brass. What I might just do is add a couple of little brass dots in the corners. And that just adds a little bit extra, and as I said, once this has dried properly I will buff that Inca Gold up and that should look really nice. There you go.